What's up, everyone? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But right now, you are tuned in to another episode of The Rundown. It's episode 5. And if you're not caught up on this series, I'll post a link to my Rundown playlist at the top of the comment section, and then you can check out all the other episodes, because some of you guys are asking me to review some songs and projects that I already talked about in the Rundown, so make sure you peep those if you haven't. You might see something that you're interested in. But for this episode right here, man, we got a lot of dope tracks. I'm going to start it off with some great work from CyHi, the Prynce. Now, CyHi has been pretty quiet for a while. We haven't heard too much from him lately, but he did drop 2 tracks, starting with the first one, Legend, which I think is really dope because it sounds like he's back on that Black History Project sound, just a simple sample-based beat with some nice bass under it. And he's spitting those clever bars that he's known for with that raspy voice and style of his. So I completely love this track. If you're a CyHi fan, I think this is exactly what you want to hear from him. And I would give it a 4 out of 5, man. It's just simplicity at his best. And I think when CyHi is at his best, he's definitely one of my favorite MCs. Although to be fair, he is known for having some corny and cringy lines once in a while. Not to mention that song he dropped last year. I forget what it was called, but it was this reggae sort of track that was just terrible. Like, I couldn't believe he even put that out there and had a video for it. But we'll move on from that. Legend is dope, 4 out of 5 for me. But even better is the other song he dropped called New Africa, man. This track is absolute banger. The production on this is a bit more dynamic with some bells, piano keys, and heavy drums all coming into the mix. There are also a lot of breakdowns and build-ups throughout it, but it's the content of this song that I really love because CyHi is spitting about this idea of all the black people who are influential and wealthy coming together and just sort of starting over on the continent of Africa. So he's going in about all the different things they could do, building strip clubs here, building more schools, putting money into different institutions, etc. And he's just shouting out a lot of famous names out there, whether it's celebrities, politicians, rappers, or athletes. So I just think this is a really cool track overall. I love the sound of it. I like his bars too, because even though he is coming with this cool idea, he's not being too preachy or anything. He does keep it kind of light, and he even references the classic movie Coming to America with that line about his queen to be. So this is a dope track, man. And based on these 2 songs, if CyHi can keep it up for his upcoming album, which is called No Dope, on Sundays, we are in for a treat. So I can't wait to get that. And I believe it's coming sometime in spring or the summer. But I would give this New Africa song a 4.5 out of 5. I like pretty much everything about it. Almost a perfect track in my opinion, but I do admit that I'm a CyHi fan, so, you know, take that for what it is. Now, the next track I want to talk about is Thundercat's song Friend Zone, and there really isn't too much to break down here, but I really fuck with this track, man. It's just a fun, funky, spacey track where Thundercat is singing about how he does not want to get stuck in the friend zone. And one of my favorite parts here is how he brings up that he would rather play Mortal Kombat or Diablo than be stuck in that friend zone. And I gotta say, man, I really felt that line because back when I was in high school, when Diablo 1 first dropped, I was all over that shit. And I do remember some girls trying to friend zone me. So I was definitely on battle.net, in the town square, doing all that shit, killing the butcher, talking to Griswold. I relate to Thundercat on this one, and I give it a 4 out of 5. Very dope track, and his album Drunk is actually due out later this week, I believe on the 24th, so we do have that to look forward to. Now, third on the list is this track from DJ Khaled featuring Beyonce and Jay-Z called Shining. And this one is pretty much just a Beyonce track with Jay-Z dropping a verse that's kind of dope, just on his braggy shit. He says he's a savage with 21 Grammys. He talks about all his platinum albums. You know, Jay-Z just boasting about everything that he's accomplished in his career, which is quite a damn bit. And then you have Beyonce singing throughout this. She's using some deep voices on here. It's not really an amazing track to me, but the production has a bright feel to it. The hook is kind of catchy. It's the type of song that if it came on the radio when you were driving on a sunny day, you probably wouldn't turn it off, but it's not something that I would go out of my way to listen to and crank up. I don't think it's an amazing song, but it is pretty damn good, man. And I would give it a 3 out of 5 just for what it is. A fun track, Jay-Z verse, some Beyonce vocals, not too much more you can really ask for. Well, I mean, you can ask for a lot more, but when you see that it's DJ Khaled featuring Beyonce and Jay-Z, it kind of just is what it is. And now we do have to talk about this Desiigner track called Outlet, which I've seen a lot of people losing their minds over. And I do understand why people like it because it has this horn-heavy banger and also this wavy little outro on it. So I think the beat is absolute fire. And Desiigner does match that beat with his high energy and some rapid-fire flows. But, you know, it is just Desiigner still. You're going to get all those crazy ad-libs. He's not saying a whole lot in his lyrics, not that you expect him to. and he still might remind people of Future a little bit. I think he is setting himself apart a bit, but for the most part, there's just not much about Desiigner that I find overly great or unique. I'm just not really on the Desiigner train yet. I'm not saying he's all out trash, and I get his appeal, but for me personally, this song is really nothing special. It's just the beat doing all the work, and every time I hear this track, I keep imagining what someone who's really dope could have done on this, because Desiigner to me just, like I said, man, he brings energy, but that's about it. Wasn't a great track to me. I would give it a 2.5 out of 5. I'm sure if you just want something hype and dumb, you could rate it higher, and I would understand that. But I hope we get some remixes and maybe get a better verse on here, at least from someone else. Or even if someone else just takes the whole track and does it over, that'd be cool with me. And the next track I want to talk about very quickly is this new track from Zero called Belong to the Streets. And if you're a Zero fan, this is exactly what you want to hear from him. The beat is very wavy. He has a catchy hook because he is just the hook master of all time. But it's not really anything too creative for Zero. It's kind of just your quintessential Zero track. The verses are nothing out of the ordinary. He's just rapping about how, he's caught up in the streets, but he loves his girl as well. So, pretty simple stuff. But I would give it a 3.5 out of 5 because it sounds really good just sonically. It's just a very wavy track. And that hook is catchy because it got stuck in my head the first time I listened to it. So check it out, especially if you're a Zero fan. You're not going to be let down. And the last track to talk about is this Hopsin song called All Your Fault. And we all know Hopsin takes a lot of heat for being kind of corny and cringeworthy. He took some heat from myself, so I do understand where people are coming from with that. But I think he's all right once in a while. I think his technical skill is there. He does get personal, especially on this track where he takes turns taking aim at one of his exes who fucked him over, his label mates, specifically Swizz, and he even takes shots at the critics as well, who always have something to say about how he raps and what he raps about. And as far as the production, I appreciate that he's moving away from that trappish style that he was really doing for quite a while there. You know what I mean? He had a couple of tracks that had these beats that were very similar, but with this one, we're getting more of a groovy, funky sort of track with this nice bass line to it. So I thought this was pretty good for what it was, man. I'm not going to say it's a great track. It's kind of just the same thing from Hopsin where he's whining and complaining about a bunch of shit. But hey, man, if that's his personal life and that's what he has to rap about, then obviously that's what he's going to do. So I didn't think this was an all-out bad track. Even if you're a Hopsin hater, I really don't think this is too bad, although he is still singing on the hook, and that is always one of his weak points, man. I just have never been a fan of his singing hooks, really. I can't think of a track that I really loved the hook where he was singing it, but hey, still, I think it's an all right track, man. I would give it a 3 out of 5. I think if you're a fan of him and you follow all the drama with him, then you'll especially appreciate this track because he does go into quite a bit of detail about all the bullshit that he's dealt with and is still dealing with. So there you have it, man. We had some good songs in this episode, some songs that weren't so great, but nothing that I really thought was really, really bad. So hit me up in the comments section, man. Let me know what you think about all these tracks. We will do some more episodes of The Rundown. They've been received pretty well. So thank you for supporting the channel and all the new things that I'm trying. I really do appreciate you guys for hanging in there. But that's it for now. Let me know what you think, and make sure you do all that good YouTube and social media stuff, man, where you like my videos, you share them, you follow me on Twitter, you retweet the videos, and of course, goddammit, you gotta subscribe to the channel and click like on that Facebook page so we can get those numbers up and keep the discussion rolling. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.